Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we are going to be jumping down into the charts to take another look at Zilliqa to see what's been going on with the price action and what I expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7, completely free to join. Go ahead, check it out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed by what you find down there. If you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, why not check out what we offer on Patreon as well. Links in the description down below. Right, let's jump down into Zilliqa here and take a look at what's going on. Right, so Zilliqa paired up with the USDT. We're on the hourly chart. Binance is our data source, and we've got a bit of a complex structure, right? A bit of a complex correction going on here, and I do need to kind of walk you through what this looks like because things have evolved a little bit since we did a video yesterday. So a little bit of an update on this one, right? So I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, but I'm going to quickly remove a couple of things so we can kind of get this a little bit more structured out. Okay, so first of all, we have this high point up here. This is containing 5 waves up. Okay, we have basically ABC down, ABC up. Okay, this is the marking the area that we need to kind of keep a good eye on, right? So the next thing that we want to do is we want to measure the distance here between our C wave and this low point. Okay, so if I just quickly move that out of the way and just zoom in, because I need to be really accurate on this. I want to make sure that I get this exactly to where it needs to be on these high points and these low points, okay? Because when I transpose this over, we need to make sure that we're actually, making sense of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right up into here, okay? And then what we want to do is we want to see whether or not we're hitting the impulsive trigger, which we are not. Okay, so we know that this is effectively just ABC coming down to about this point here, and just a little bit short of the 1-to-1 ratio, but we could also articulate this as a bigger ABC move coming down because we actually land right here. Then we have some kind of short ABC up and potentially coming back down, but I think we need to potentially look at this as more of a complex move in itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this up as A, B, C just here, because I think that's actually, what's going on. Remove that fib there, and I'll just pop this C wave back. Okay, so we have ABC down, ABC up, ABC down so far. Then we got this kind of ABC up here, really short one, and then we get into something really interesting. Now this, if I measure this move right here and I pull that over to here, we can see that this yellow dashed line that I've put on here is an impulsive move, right? So in theory this should have been, and I say should because it's invalidated now, but we had 1, 2, 3, 4 up here, and then we'd come down with a 5, right? But there are essential unbreakable rules when it comes to Elliott wave theory, right? Wave 4 is never allowed to cross the peak of wave 1. And in this case, it has. And as a result, that is not an impulsive move. Okay, so it's just corrective again. So essentially what we have here is A, B, C up, and we have, a bigger A, B, C, I think, coming down lower. Okay, so what we've got here then is basically a new move coming up to here. We'll put that, and I'm just going to make sure I get this as roughly as I can on the nose so we can be pretty confident on the numbers that we're going to be hitting. Let me just check that's up there. That's cool. Put that one there. Perfect, right. So now I can go ahead and move this over to this wick high here. We'll just check to make sure I get that on the point for Zil. That's perfect. Okay, cool. So this then means that our C wave low target comes down here. Okay, 13.9. Okay, perfect. So this is kind of looking relatively complex, very choppy in its nature, right? But what have we actually got? Well, we've got essentially some pretty interesting moves that have been occurring, and I think it's important that we kind of acknowledge a couple of things. This move here and here, obviously being a big A wave down, B wave up, and potentially a C wave down lower. So on a bigger scale, right, because we're on the hourly chart, we can plot all the micro movements, but on the larger scale, such as a daily chart or an 4-hourly chart, we wouldn't necessarily see so much noise. Instead, what we would see is we'd see a whole host of larger moves, right? A big A, a big B, and a big C wave. And if we were to plot that out here, this C wave low would actually just fall short of going to impulsive on the larger scale. So again, we're not seeing 5 waves down, which means we are still corrective. But I will mark this up here because if we do cross this level right there at 13.529, we would actually have an impulsive structure appear on a larger time frame, and that would be more downside for Zilliqa. Okay, if this is small and this is just ABC and it lands here, doesn't cross 15 sorry, 13.529, then essentially what you've got is a move potentially coming to the upside. So in that particular regard, you would then start to see maybe, a good move back up. Okay, but we'd have to be cautious at that point because there's so much volatility. Lots of people now able to actually sell their ZIL because some of them were staked for such a significant period of time. Some people are still staked and they still have to wait maybe another few days before they can actually sell. So the selling pressure is going to start mounting up pretty hard. Okay, so yeah, we could see 5 waves down. So we want to be cautious. We don't necessarily want to jump into anything that doesn't necessarily look good. Okay, now the other thing with ZIL is we have a reasonable stochastic RSI here on our our hourly chart, right? So essentially we can pull this back down. Okay, we are not overbought, we're not oversold. We could have a small push up, we could take it into the overbought area before we have that pullback, something like that. It's not necessarily telling of one way or the other, but it is higher than average, and we would expect to see some kind of pullback at some point to complete this move. Okay, now as I come into the 4 hourly chart, we're oversold. Okay, so this basically is telling us that we're less likely to go down into those impulsive moves. The 8 hourly chart, oversold. Again, less likely to go down into those moves. And the daily chart, we are pulling it back down. Okay, we are correcting our daily chart. And if we actually start to review this correction, it's actually looking pretty good so far. And I mean good in the sense that we've been talking about requiring a pretty deep correction. Admittedly, I thought we were going to be going for new all-time highs before we would see the correction. And it appears that actually this might be a really deep 4th wave, or maybe I've put this 4th wave in the wrong place. Maybe we've actually completed the 5th wave, right? And the 5th wave should actually just be landing there, and that's that done. It's also a very big possibility. There are 5 waves inside there, so we could say that that is the 5th wave. So I'll put that back up the top there just for a second, but essentially we could be talking about a deeper correction on this daily chart, and we just continue down. And if we do, my requirements for this would actually be about 8.7 cent, around that range, and that would be a continuation. We'd obviously tick, I think, in my opinion, the impulsive trigger to the downside, and we would basically then just scale this down towards that range there, and we'll have that impulsive structure form on the daily chart, and we basically just get into that low retracement, huge opportunity for buying, and then we ride up into the next big impulsive move up, which would be a big wave 3 on the larger scale. So if I were to zoom on out, essentially what I'm saying here is that all of this here would be a wave 1, then this move into this yellow box range would be a wave 2. Then we have a really big break to the upside with a wave 3. We'll have a small pullback for a wave 4, then a wave 5 afterwards, right? So if that structure is something that we start seeing, we have a big ABC taking us down into this yellow box range, we'll be in a really good spot to actually take advantage of some absolutely insane Zilliqa gains that we, would dwarf what we've seen so far. So that would be absolutely insane, and I think that would be really, really cool for everyone who's invested in ZIL that maybe missed out on selling at these high points, to know that there is some kind of really impulsive structure that could be forming in the future. So just to kind of summarize, I'll keep this nice and brief. It's possible that we actually start to see a bit more of a pullback. Okay, it is also possible that the 4 hourly and the 8 hourly stochastic RSI move much too fast to the upside as selling pressure starts to mount, and we don't actually see any significant price recovery here. And what we actually start to see is a slippage, and we start to pull back down into the lower ranges. 8.7 cent is the kind of overarching corrective price target that I have personally. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot offer you financial advice. I do these because, I can read the charts, and I like to keep people informed of what I'm expecting to happen next in the charts here. But essentially, once that correction is over, I do expect us to see some fantastic surge upwards that will dwarf what we've seen so far. Wave 3 is usually the largest of the 3 motive waves when it comes to Elliott wave theory, and wave 1 typically is actually the smallest. It's not normally the largest. In fact, it cannot be the largest. So we would normally expect wave 1 to be, the smallest along with wave 5. But sometimes wave 5 becomes the largest, and wave 3 just cannot be the smallest. So therefore, you end up with these absolutely insane runs later on. And we're in the very, very early stages of it. So essentially, long-term holders, I think you're in for a bit of a treat down the road, several months. And I think, if there are any kind of new investors that we're jumping in, FOMOing into Zilliqa, be rest assured that in a few months from now, I do think that Zilliqa is going to be in a much better position. If you have found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.